There has never been a better way to explain what we are doing than to put you there before you are ready. When you do not feel an experience, describing it ahead of time can often contribute to you generating an unhealthy and untrue comprehension. That comprehension exists. It has baggage. It prevents you from transforming yourself because it exists in relationship to a range of forces that then makes it more difficult for you to let go of where you have been. When you incarnated on Earth, you were transforming yourself from one way of being into another. Every way of being involves being conscious within a range of different measurements. Those measurements are not the primary quality of the experience, but they help you understand where you are. Polarity exists along a continuum. You can locate yourself in many places along that continuum and understand forces in a similar way. Therefore, you are accustomed to feeling the weather between a certain range of temperatures. There is a range beyond which it is too cold, and there is a range beyond which it is too hot. Within this range, you can experience a different kind of comfort. In some contexts, you wear more clothing. In others, you need to take measures to cool yourself. And yet, this existence enables you to identify cold and hot. You can comprehend a way of being in which a much colder measurement would be normal to you. And within that measurement, hot might be something that is actually quite cold to you as a human being. From within this experience, it is necessary for you to understand many things. First, we created this for you. At one point, you were not here, and now you are. You were born into a body, and the body has a certain range of built-in comforts. I do not completely assert these comforts as limits, and yet, in most regards, they are. You may not transcend these limits unless you learn to comprehend where you begin. And you begin with what is essentially a generic relationship to this world. The human body does not like it above a certain temperature or below a certain temperature. When you become accustomed to this relationship, you gain the opportunity to work with those limits. But until you accept them, you cannot work with them. The reason that it functions in this manner is simple. We are helping you change who you used to be. Changing is extremely difficult. To change yourself in a universal sense, you must make what are essentially singular choices, such as the choice to incarnate on the earth. Imagine you play a song. You play it within a range of notes. That range has an internal coherence. The notes have the same kind of relationship to each other as a much lower range of notes. Imagine you play a simple song at the top of the range of notes on the piano. Now, imagine you play it on the bottom. The lower notes and the higher notes all have similar relationships to each other. This is what we are doing here on Earth. You existed in a certain range, and you transposed your existence in a manner you were relatively accustomed to into this one. But within this existence, behaviors, relationships, interactions all take the form of a song. That song is quite similar to the song that you used to sing. Yet, the limits are different here. Some of the same behavior, some of the same music that exists as your way of being hurts. And because it hurts, you change it. For many ways of being, the concept of putting yourself in a position where existence is painful does not make sense. You simply don't do it. And yet, within such a context, changes only come out of a proactive desire. And make no mistake, this can work to an extent. And yet, eternal beings develop a consistent relationship to themselves that makes it far more magnetic to continue the same patterns than to change them. And thus, you choose to incarnate. You can choose to incarnate in many ways, in many places. The earth is simply one such way. And when you incarnate here, you get to experience an extraordinary transformation. This transformation is far more extensive than anything you have been able to motivate yourself to create through desirable transformations. It is painful. In the pain, you are essentially limiting yourself. A freedom that you experienced playing your song in the high notes is not here. When you transpose the music from the top of your existence into this one, it functions differently. Those changes are built in. The same song transposed into lower notes hurts here. And it hurts in ways that induces you to shift. And the shifting is not always easy. In truth, you participate heavily in scripting the way you change. This scripting involves a fundamental restriction. You actually used to have a wider range of expression, and within your existence on Earth, this range is restricted. And within these restrictions, you essentially do not get to express yourself as broadly as you used to. And yet your energy wants to continue to express itself in the manner it used to. And because it is limited, and because those limitations are reinforced with pain of various forms. You choose to change. And those changes are channeled into expression within a different form. You have a body, and this body is capable of expressing energy in a variety of ways that you could not express your energy while in a purely soulful experience. Within your soulful experience, you did not have the same range of sensations and expressions. Now that you do, your song has a more restricted range of expression, and yet your range of expression has expanded in other ways. And thus, your instinctive behavior is karmically driving you to behave in a certain way, to sing the song of your life in a certain way. And you come against a boundary that you're somewhat unaccustomed to feeling. And it drives you to express through an artistic form or a physical form. When you do this, you do the work of shifting yourself, and you gain the blessing of a creation that is new to you. And you experience the entrance into a new field with the momentum of your karmic existence. This is work that pays you right away. You are paid in the form of joy, freedom within new boundaries. Your freedom was restricted within your instinctive expression, driven by the karma you brought to earth. Energy changes form, and you create yourself in a new way. The gift is immediate in that you feel it in a very pleasant way. This feeling enables you to form new relationships which support your new manners of expression. Some of those relationships are those that accompanied you to this planet, and some of them are new. The earth herself sees you with more clarity and deeper care than you can see yourself, particularly within the confines of this life and your linear consciousness within time. Thus, it is the act of surrendering to her witness that accepts the forces as they redirect you. Stop trying to make things work that don't work, and gain the space to pray for what the earth is really making available to you. In this acceptance, you will love life much more deeply.